Hello, and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Today's video is going to be comparing the Modern Renaissance palette, which is a $42 palette, to the new Wet n Wild Rose in the Air palette, and this one retails for $4.99. So I actually did use these on my eyes today. I'm not holding them in any particular order. I personally don't really think that you can tell the difference on the actual eyes, but when it comes to actually applying them and blending them, I have a little bit of a different opinion. So if you want to go ahead and see how I got this look right here, let's go ahead and get started. So let's go ahead and get into some comparison swatches. These palettes are very similar. They don't have the exact same shades, but like I said, still very similar. So I'll go ahead and swatch these out for you. So on this arm right here, we have the Modern Renaissance, and on this arm right here, we have the Wet n Wild. You can see that the tones are very similar. I would say the biggest difference in these palettes is definitely application, just for blendability and pigment and ease of application, and then also in general the way that they wear. So with the Modern Renaissance, I can wear this with or without an eyeshadow primer. It will stay all day long. I don't have to worry about it creasing, fading, any of that. I typically don't have eyeshadows crease on me, but they definitely do fade. These do not fade, whether I'm using a MAC paint pot, my Smashbox eye primer, Milani eye primer, does not matter. These stay beautiful all day. However, something that I do notice with the Wet n Wild one is no matter if I'm using a primer, not using a primer, I've tried a couple different primers, these seem to fade. And also the shimmer shades in here that are supposed to be like Vermeer and Antique Bronze in the Modern Renaissance palette aren't quite as poppy as I'd like them to be. You definitely have to use a lot more Fix Plus with this than you do with the Modern Renaissance, but overall I do feel that they are very similar. If you have the Modern Renaissance, I really don't think that you need the Wet n Wild. But if you want the Wet n Wild, but you just don't want to spend the $42, you can afford the $42 right now, I think that this is a good alternative. As you can see, you can get a very similar eye look, and I think that if you're willing to play around with this one, you can get an identical eye look to the Modern Renaissance. So all in all, I think that if you're in the market to spend the $42, I would definitely go for the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance. Although I am kind of biased, Anastasia makes my favorite eyeshadow formula ever, but the Wet n Wild one is still a really good affordable option, and the fact that these eyeshadows are $4.99 is amazing. That is everything for this video. If you did like this video, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more content from me in the future, please go ahead and subscribe down below. That way you're notified for future videos from me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.